On a clear morning in the summer of 1914, multiple workers at the Ouiatchouan Pulp Mill in Val-Jalbert claimed to witness a silver, disc-shaped object hovering silently above the mill. Described as lacking wings or propellers, the object emitted a low humming noise. According to the workers, the disc remained stationary for nearly 10 minutes before ascending vertically at an unprecedented speed, disappearing from sight. The foreman reportedly dismissed the sighting, attributing it to optical illusions or atmospheric conditions, but the workers remained adamant about their experience. This is the story of the 1914 Val-Jalbert sighting, one of the earliest well-documented industrial-era UFO encounters in North America. Occurring just a decade after the Wright brothers' first powered flight, this event challenges the idea that anomalous aerial phenomena are a product of modern technology or imagination. Today we examine the full historical account, the credibility of the witnesses, and why this case remains compelling over a century later. Welcome to the channel. We're going back to rural Quebec in 1914 to explore a sighting that predates the modern UFO era by decades. Everything in this video is drawn directly from the historical chapter provided. No speculation, just the documented testimony and its context. Let's set the scene in Val-Jalbert, Quebec in 1914. Val-Jalbert was a model company town established in 1901 by Val-Jalbert, centered around the Ouiatchouan Pulp Mill, powered by the impressive Ouiatchouan Falls. By 1914, the town boasts modern amenities uncommon in rural Quebec, including electricity, running water, and telephone service. The community was structured with distinct residential areas for workers and management, reflecting the social hierarchies of the time. The mill's operations were integral to the town's livelihood, and any unusual occurrences were of significant concern to its inhabitants. On that clear summer morning, multiple workers at the pulp mill observed something extraordinary. A silver disc-shaped object appeared above the mill. It lacked wings or propellers and emitted a low humming noise. The object hovered silently and stationary for nearly 10 minutes, long enough for several workers to observe it closely and discuss what they were seeing. Then, it ascended vertically at an unprecedented speed and disappeared from sight. The workers' descriptions were consistent in broad features: a metallic disc-like shape, silent operation except for the low hum, prolonged hovering, and rapid vertical departure. The foreman reportedly dismissed the sighting as optical illusions or atmospheric conditions. In an era when aviation was still in its infancy, the Wright brothers' first flight had occurred only 11 years earlier. Such an object was far beyond known technological capabilities. The credibility of the witnesses is a central strength of this case. These were mill workers, individuals accustomed to the mechanical operations and environmental conditions of the pulp mill. Their familiarity with the sounds and sights of industrial work lends credibility to their account, as they would likely distinguish between ordinary occurrences and genuine anomalies. The consistency of their descriptions, particularly regarding the object's shape, lack of conventional propulsion, and sudden vertical ascent, suggests a shared and genuine experience rather than individual misperception or exaggeration. In 1914, aviation technology was rudimentary. Aircraft were noisy, slow, and limited in maneuverability. The concept of a silent, hovering, disc-shaped craft capable of rapid vertical ascent was beyond anything possible with the technology of the time. This technological mismatch makes the Val-Jalbert account particularly perplexing and strengthens its status as an early anomalous event. The sighting gains additional historical significance because it predates the modern UFO era, which is often dated to Kenneth Arnold's 1947 sighting. The 1914 case shows that reports of disc-shaped metallic objects with advanced flight characteristics existed long before the term flying saucer entered popular vocabulary. It contributes to the broader tapestry of unexplained aerial phenomena in Canadian history, particularly in Quebec, which has a notable record of such sightings over the years. Contextual background further supports the case's intrigue. Val-Jalbert was a thriving industrial community in a relatively remote area. Workers lived in close proximity to the mill and were attuned to its daily rhythms. A sighting of this nature would have been a major topic of conversation among the community, even if the foreman attempted to downplay it. The lack of widespread contemporary media coverage is understandable given the era's communication limitations and focus on more immediate local and international events, but the account survived through oral history and later documentation. Possible conventional explanations have been considered over the years. Atmospheric phenomena such as ball lightning or temperature inversions can create optical illusions, but they typically do not exhibit prolonged stationary behavior followed by rapid vertical movement. Experimental aircraft of the period were incapable of silent hovering or high-speed vertical ascent. Psychological factors such as collective misinterpretation are possible in high-stress work environments. But there is no evidence of unusual stress at the mill that day, and the consistency of multiple independent descriptions argues against mass hallucination. The 1914 Val-Jalbert sighting shares notable similarities with later UFO reports. The disk shape, silent operation, hovering capability, and sudden acceleration are recurring elements in 20th and 21st century cases. This continuity suggests a persistent phenomenon rather than isolated misidentifications tied to specific technological eras. The involvement of multiple industrial workers as witnesses adds a layer of practical credibility, as these individuals were grounded in the mechanical realities of their time. In the broader study of unidentified aerial phenomena, the Val-Jalbert case provides historical depth. It demonstrates that structured, metallic, disc-like objects with advanced flight characteristics were reported decades before the modern UFO wave. The sighting's location in a company town also highlights how anomalous events can occur in everyday industrial settings, witnessed by ordinary working people. The cultural and historical resonance of the event is rich. Val-Jalbert represented progress and modernity in early 20th century rural Quebec. A silent hovering disc above the mill could have been interpreted as a technological marvel, a spiritual sign, or something entirely unknown. The workers' insistence on what they saw, despite the foreman's dismissal, reflects a common theme in UFO history: eyewitness conviction in the face of official skepticism. Today, the 1914 Val-Jalbert sighting remains an enigmatic but well-attested early case. It stands alongside other pre-1947 reports as evidence that anomalous aerial phenomena have been documented for well over a century. For researchers, it serves as a reminder that the history of UFOs extends far beyond the post-World War II era, and that credible witnesses from all walks of life have contributed to the record. The silver disc that hovered silently above the Ouiatchouan Pulp Mill in 1914 may have eventually ascended out of sight, but its place in the history of unexplained phenomena endures. The workers' testimony, preserved through local accounts and later research, ensures that one of Canada's earliest detailed industrial UFO sightings continues to challenge our understanding of what is possible in our skies. As we examine the long timeline of anomalous aerial events, cases like Val-Jalbert remind us that the mystery is not new. Ordinary people going about their daily work have repeatedly witnessed objects that defy conventional explanation. In 1914, at a pulp mill in rural Quebec, that mystery took the form of a silent silver disc that hovered, observed, and then departed with impossible speed. The skies above Val-Jalbert in the summer of 1914 were not empty. Something moved there that defied the technology and understanding of its time, and it left behind a report that still resonates more than a century later.